So that part of the lesson showed us what the concept of a fraction is, as well as finding out whether a fraction is equivalent or not. The last part of the lesson I want to just show to you is that you can manipulate the fractions to be whatever you need them to be and still keep them equivalent, still keep them the same amount of pizza or the same amount of hamburger. So let me show you how to do that. Let's say I had, oops, I need a pen. Let's say I have 1/3. Let's do this as a we do, so we just only have to do a couple of options. If I have 1/3 and I need that denominator to be something different, I can do that, and as long as no matter what I do to change my denominator, I also do the same thing to the numerator. So as long as I keep things fair, if I multiply it by one number, as long as I do the same to the top, or if I divide it by a number, as long as I do the same to the top. So either I multiply or divide, as long as I keep it fair. So I can make an equivalent fraction of this by, let's go multiply by 2. That's 6. It would completely change the fraction, the amount of pizza I'm looking at, if I just brought the 1 across, because 1 out of 3 is a whole lot more pizza than 1 out of 6. But if I multiplied this by 2, and I did the same thing to his best friend up here at the top, the numerator, I would end up with a 2 here. 1 times 2 is 2. And 2/6 is exactly the same amount. So I call it beating it up. They're like bullies here. They're not piece builder at all. So as long as whatever I beat the bottom up with, I beat his best friend, the numerator, up with the same thing, then I'm going to keep my fractions equivalent. It's going to be the same amount of pizza or hamburger or whatever. Let's look at it as, this is a second we do. We do number 2. Let's look at this as 4/10. What if I divided it instead? Over here I multiplied. Oh, I can divide it too. If you see that there's a number that divides into both of them, you can do that. Let's divide that by 2, divide that by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4/10. Okay, so let's take a look and see if that's actually true. So this one is saying that this is split into 10 equal pieces. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Pretend those are equal. It's supposed to be equal. And out of those 10 equal pieces, we eat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 slices of pizza. This one, 2/5, is saying that we split that pizza into 5 equal pieces, and out of those 5, we ate 2 of them. Pretend they're equal. And so it is the same amount of pizza if I had cut these equally. So on here I used 2 as an example, but I mean I could have multiplied it by let's say 10. So what if I had done it, I'm going to go the opposite way, but same thing. Let's say I said, okay, 10. As long as you do the same to the top as you did to the bottom, that would be 10 and that would be 30, you're still going to have the same amount. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Pretend those are all equal pieces. And if I get to eat 10 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's still the same amount of pizza. So for as far as equivalency goes and making different types of equivalent fractions, just remember this. Keep whatever you beat up the bottom with, the denominator with, beat up his best friend, the numerator, with the same number as well. And you will keep things equivalent. So let's do a you do. Okay, so now you do it. You go ahead and create any equivalent fraction to 4/8 and push pause, and then when you have an answer, go ahead and push play. Now the thing here is that our answers can be different because it just depends on what we beat it up with. Maybe you beat yours up with a 2, bottom and top. As long as you do bottom and top, you're going to be fine. So maybe you got 8/16. Or maybe and I do this a lot. Maybe you just said, oh, I'll just do it with a 10. That's nice and easy because you just put the 0 on the end. 40/80ths. Sure. Those are equivalent. That would be correct too. Or maybe you did division. You said, hey, 2 goes into both of those. And you got 2/4. Or maybe you did division, but you noticed that 4 goes into both of those. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Any of these are equivalent fractions. They're the same amount of pizza to 4/8. They all are equivalent. And there's plenty more answers. So as long as you beat up the bottom, the denominator, with the same number as you did the top, the numerator, then you would have gotten the correct answer. Hope that makes sense to you. Come get your closure questions.